Hello, it is Thursday, Oaks Day preview with Layback with Betfair. Hawkins is back. The great man, Andrew, as I welcome you in. How are you, mate?
Mate, just surviving through Cup Week. It is a long week. You forget how long it is. It's been a while since we've been through all of these functions and race days, and we're getting through the week. And look, thankfully, good Cup Day for me personally. So now we just need to get to Oaks Day, Stakes Day, and hopefully find a winner.
Don't talk to me about Cup Day.
I don't think you're alone there. There are quite a few people who seem to be having a tough day.
We'll get to that in the stakes preview as well, because plenty to talk about from the week in terms of data and all things data. But let's get straight into it on Oaks Day, Hawk. And the showers seem to be they're not really sticking around. They're actually getting the forecast looking okay. So hopefully we're on a 5-6. What are you thinking for Thursday?
It's so tough to know. I'm staying over near Flemington, and we were over at Flemington this morning, and it was bright sun. There was no rain around. Drove over this side of town through the Burnley Tunnel, over towards the other side of.
Would have taken you a while.
It did actually. It did take a very long time. Much actually. Laban, one for Laban another time. But getting through the tunnel, and you come out the other side, and it's just pouring rain. So I mean, again, Melbourne can be temperamental. If the rain stays away, I think you'll be getting to a 5 or 6, and I think that's going to be important for a couple of horses. I know that you like later in the card, but I think if we can get up to a 5 or a 6, and hopefully towards a 4 for Stakes Day, then even better.
Rail in the 5 metre position for Flemington. I think it's going to be 2 metres on Stakes Day. You know?
I think it is
TBA, according to Racing Australia at the moment. But our 5 metres Thursday, we'll see how the track plays. They got wider and wider on Cup Day as the rain fell. The inside probably was the quicksand, probably wasn't the place to be, Hawk. But yes, we'll get stuck straight into it. I'm keen to touch on race 3, the $250,000 Inglis bracelet here, Hawk. And there's a Sydney sider here that had a run at Moonee Valley last start that really captured my attention in Roots, number 8. I like this horse. What she did in Moonee Valley last start was unbelievable. And I think she's a real key contender here. I'm pretty keen. Like, she put a space on third there. She lost momentum at a critical time on the inside, had to duck back, probably the inferior ground, still ran the fastest final 200 metres of the race, and the winner, My Whisper, just had that cart around and had all the momentum. I think she's clearly the horse to beat. She's short price, but about that 260 mark, I think I'm happy to take her. Number 8, Roots.
Roots, she's. I've always wanted to know if she's named after Sydney racing rider Chris Roots, because I'm sure that he's claimed it anyway, even if she is or not. Look, she was very good there at Moonee Valley, coming off those good wins up in Sydney as well. She's had the right grounding. She's improved preparation on preparation. She does look the one to beat. There is a former winner of this race in there, Rocker Clock as well, who is coming off an okay performance as well. So I think the Sydney form is probably where you want to be looking. Okay, she was disappointing in the Tristarc Rocker Clock, but she had been trialling okay before that. So I'd keep an eye on her again, second up, but she'd want the track to improve.
Yep,
but again, it's one of those races where it's hard to line up some of this form, and that's the case with a lot of these Inglis races. They're restricted to Inglis purchases, and so you get a lot of horses that don't necessarily meet each other at other times of the year.
Yep, I'm with Roots there, number 8, one of my better bets on the program. We head to race 4 here, and I've got a lay in this race, Hawk.
Oh, do you?
I do. I'm laying the favourite here, Grey River. Completely different setup for this horse. So it's come off a Morphettville Park's run over 1,250 metres, this horse. Gets to 1,400 metres Flemington. Completely different tracks. Takes on some listed Sydney form, some strong group races as well. Just looks way too short for me, and I give her a winning chance. But I think too short for me, Grey River. She's a nice filly, but she comes off a dominant win. But just the leader at Morphettville Parks early in the day, you can see those margins. I think there's plenty of horses with chance, and I'm pretty keen on number 7, Amati here. I'm backing James McDonald, races 3 and 4. Why not? You don't see a Chris Waller J-Mac horse going around at this price very often. She's double figures. I can make a big case for her. She was fantastic last start. I know she probably had the right run in transit, and the horse that came off its back and finished off really well was Vienna Princess, but meets that horse 4.5 kilos better, staying at the 1,400 metres. I think Vienna Princess might be looking for further maps to get back. Amati lobs in a perfect position again, gets J-Mac on. You would have thought he would have had the choice out of those two Waller runners, and I think she's a huge price, Amati, and pretty keen to take on the favourite Grey River at my lay in the race. You?
Well, I think you've made a good point there about Amati. I think she's going to end up in the right spot. look, obviously it depends where they're getting to in the day, but I think
Waller's the man for the job there.
Exactly, and I think J Mac will probably look to try and stay one off the fence, be able to get the card up at the right time. We obviously saw the same colours, same trainer win last year. This race with Espiona,
just a small win.
Yeah, just a small win that. But I think that's actually where a lot of this money for Grey River's coming from because yes,
hype.
It is hype. I think Espiona last year was coming off that maiden win. She had that really good maiden win. It was second time out. Grey River, they're trying to find the next Espiona here, and I don't think Grey River is it. As you said, Morphettville Parks, right spot, being on the speed. I just don't know how to rate that form. And you look at some of these horses otherwise, I mean, See You in Heaven easily beats Grey River earlier in the year. That was in the David Coles. Yes, okay, different race here and obviously See You in Heaven up in the weights, but it's only a 3 kilo difference.
Yeah.
And there's just so many other horses here that are emerging, even horses like Hellhound and Birdies Galore. Bonheur, they've had a big opinion of her for a while. I must admit, when I was having a look at the race last night, Amati was the one that did stand out to me. I think that Reginald Allen form is the right form. We saw a lot more love come out a week later and run really well in the Calendar Presnell behind Golden Mile, obviously a Caulfield Guineas winner. That's, to me, the right form for a race like this.
Yep. I think she's already continued to drift. Grey River, she's $4.50, $4.60, $4.70 out to almost $6 now. So the drift is on, which is good to see. I think she'll start closer to $10. I wouldn't be surprised. So I'll be keep laying her. Press the pink button on Betfair, gamble responsibly, of course. Race 8, we'll get to the Group 1 Oaks Hawk, and you would have done the form diligently for the race, the Group 1, 2,500 metres for the fillies. Which way are you siding with?
Well, I think the question becomes here, do you stick with the Wakeful Stakes form, which has always been the strong lead into this race, or do you instead look to either the Sydney form or a horse like a Foxy Cleopatra coming from that ethereal win as well, or that ethereal second, I should say. Obviously, then you've got Renaissance Woman as the tie-in between the two because she ran in the Spring Champion just as She's Extreme did, and Foxy Cleopatra second to Renaissance Woman in the ethereal. So you've got a few things here tying in. Personally, I think the Sydney form's the way to go. I'm thinking She's Extreme. Okay, will she see out a mile and a half? Questionable, but...
What do you think? Do you think she'll stay? It's a matter of if she stays the trip, she wins, in my opinion.
And the thing is, to me, she doesn't even need to stay the trip. She just
needs
class alone.
She's by Extreme Choice. The dam side's got some staying background to it, but Extreme Choice in a Derby trip's not common.
It isn't common, but the thing is, Extreme Choice by Not a Single Doubt, I think very similar type. Not a Single Doubt, usually producing sprinters, but could produce horses that got off over a trip, has had Derby winners, Oaks winners, even had a Caulfield Cup winner. And I think Extreme Choice, very similar type. And just on class, She's Extreme. She's racing so well. She came from a long way back in that Champion Stakes, and I think looked to me to run the 2,000 out. So I think for me, She's Extreme probably better the day.
To the eye, she did run out the 2,000 strongly, and the times backed that up. She ran the fastest 400 and 200 of that race. It was a really good run. Arguably could have won that race. I think it's the right form. Barrier 1's a little query as well. So you got the query about the distance, which all these do, to be fair, and Barrier 1. They're the two concerns. But look at handicap rating. She meets them at level weight. She's 20 handicap higher than the second horse here. I think she's clearly the horse to beat. I've got her on top. Do I want to dive in at a short price? I reckon this is probably the hardest Group 1 in terms of betting out of all of them, year-wide. Not this race, but the Oaks in general.
Yeah.
Because you see upsets, you see these fillies that have class that can't stay, or something happens, they get to the end of the prep, or...
And it can sometimes go the other way too, that you see a filly and you think, surely she's not going to stay, and then she does. Machine is one that I remember. I wanted to take on Machine.
She won on class too.
And she won by what, 9 lengths or something
Just
like
won
that.
on class.
So, and then you get the likes of Lesquetti Spirit, who was 125 to 1 or whatever she was.
Did she win another race? I don't think she did.
No, she I think she ran well in...
she ran behind Winks once and led by about 10 lengths and stuck on for third or something.
No, that's what I was having. I was thinking of fifth in a Sydney Cup. Yeah, second to Winks in a Chipping Norton, only beaten 2 lengths. So, the Oaks is one of these really tricky and minefield races. Again, you get all sorts of things going on from a tactical perspective. And so it wouldn't surprise me to see something try to try to really go forward and make it a real staying test and try to steal it from the front. Something like Serious Princess or Macrana. Macrana was a long way back on a Saturday. So it's one of these races. Anything could happen, but I think it could just be a case of the obvious.
Yep.
She's Extreme.
Oh, I'm with you. She's Extreme on top for me. Hawkins' best bet of the day. By the sound of it, we head to race 9, the last race on the program. Big field of 3-year-old fillies here. Have you got a strong opinion in this race?
Well, look, I think that the race is going to depend on a couple of things. Are the scratchings going to come? If the scratchings come, I think Greece is the one that everyone's going to want to be on. And then it's just a matter of, does the rain stay away? We saw how
she won't run if the rain's around anyway.
No, but if it gets up to a 6, we saw what she did on a 6 last time out. I think the firmer the better for her, and I think the race really revolves around Greece. I think that's going to determine a lot. Obviously, A, if she gets a run, B, where the track's at. But if she gets a run and she's on a decent enough track, I think we're going to see a very good performance from her.
Yeah, she's drawn okay. I don't mind about it. There's a lot of speed in this race. We've got H2O, English Riviera, Greece will be up there, Troach, she's dances, Bay 13, all have speed. La Danseuse Rouge wasn't far away last start at Caulfield.
Even Lady Laguna.
There's a lot of speed in the race.
It doesn't sit too far away. So,
but in saying that, these straight races aren't usually run at genuine tempos either. They find their position, lob out, and actually don't go that hard because there's no bend. They can't get trapped wide. So,
and I guess the other thing too is that often you'll see them end up in different parts. I think we saw it on Tuesday in the race won by Renosu, where they were sort of having a look around. And I mean, Zoo Sensation did go out at speed, but you could see both sides trying to weigh up where everyone was at.
Tactics are crucial. The hard races to Benedict. I'm with Greece here. Deserved favourite. She brings different form. A lot of these tie into each other, Hawk. She brings different form, but she brings very good form. She's the sister to Loving Gabby. She was a brilliant horse. Demolished her rivals at Geelong last start on that soft 6. Ran some nice sectionals in doing so. She's priced on hype a little bit. The stable have got a huge opinion. They have from day one. And this horse has trialled like a genuine star in the past as well. So if she gets a run, I think she will. She'll be mighty hard to beat. Anything better than a soft 6, a great bet there. La Danseuse Rouge can run well back to 1,200, back to 1,100 here off that 1,200 metre run. Draws okay, but Greece for me on top in the red. Roses, your best of the day?
Yeah, I think best has to be She's Extreme for me. But it is a great betting day. I think there's going to be some value there, just as there was on Cup Day. It's just a matter of finding the value.
I found Cup Day extremely hard, and it's planned out that way too. Roots, really good bet for me. Race 3, number 8, Roots. I'm pretty keen to lay Grey River. Race 4, number 12, my lay of the day there. She's Extreme on top of the Oaks, but I really like Greece as well, Hawk, if she gets a run. So all about the fillies and mares on Oaks Day. Thanks for joining me.
Great to be with you.
Doing it again ahead of Stakes Day. Thanks for joining us on Layback with Betfair. Gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858.